Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. So I've got another cool product from my friends over at BetaFPV. They have sent me their newest version of the ExpressLRS 2.4 gigahertz transmitter module and a receiver to go along with it. If you don't know what ExpressLR is, stop, go look it up, come on back when you realize that you've been making the wrong decisions and you should be going to ExpressLRS. ExpressLRS is a low latency, long range RC protocol. In my case, I go with the 2.4 gigahertz setup. I don't really have a need for maximum long range. I'm not trying to touch skyscrapers or go to the tops of mountains. I'm just looking for a low latency link that will at least outrun my video, which this will do that. But the other awesome thing about ExpressLRS is it is open source. That means anybody can make hardware, for better or for worse. You could have 6 different companies making receivers, so you're not bottlenecked by one company making a receiver, and when they go out of stock or having supply chain issues, you're kind of out of luck. There are plenty of companies to choose from for both transmitters and receivers. But let's face it, you're only going to buy one transmitter, right? Maybe 2, 1 or 2. So the receiver side of the open source ExpressLRS thing is more important to me than the transmitter side, but with all the different players in the hobby chiming in and getting their fingers in the pot of ExpressLRS, we have a bunch of different companies producing various quality products. And today, like my last review of ExpressLRS from BetaFPV was for the JR Lite, now we have one for the full-size JR Bay. This is the BetaFPV Micro TX module. There was a Nano, that was the JR Lite. This is the Micro, this is the full-size JR. Does that mean that there's a Mega ExpressLRS module coming? Yeah, there actually is, but that's not here yet. I probably shouldn't say that, should I? Oh well, it's happened. I'm not editing it out. So off the bat, I'm actually really excited about this because I have switched up my daily driver radio to the TBS Mambo. Yes, I know that's kind of ironic. I'm taking a radio that has a built-in low latency 2.4 gigahertz link and putting in a lower latency, more consistent, better range 2.4 gigahertz link. Plenty of room for ExpressLRS in that radio, and I love the combination. Another thing I really like about this transmitter module is it does have an OLED screen. We'll get more into that as we go on. The build quality of this is excellent. The case is not 3D printed. This is injection molded. It is pretty darn tough. There were some pre-release models out there that were 3D printed that broke very easily, but those were like pre-release samples. This is the actual retail unit that you'll get if you purchase one. Now, it is a little bit ahead of its time. The OLED screen is not completely supported by the OpenTX project. As of the recording of this video, which is the end of October, my contact at BetaFPV is saying that ExpressLRS version 2.1 should have full support for the OLED screen and the joystick in the back. So look for that and stay on top of your updates. I do use the Lewis script. Lewis script is fine, but you know, sometimes it's nice to be able to just look in the back and do that stuff, especially when they're, you know, they have other things on the horizon like VTX switching and things like that that are in the works. It would be nice, kind of future-proofing. This does have RGB LEDs in it, so you know it's good. Has a fan, kicks on at, above a certain power level. It's not 100% necessary, but it is there. It will take a external power source, 2S max. The manual is kind of confusing. It says, please do not use 3S or above. It should probably just say 2S max. Like, let's, I don't know, it's kind of confusing to me. Maybe it's the way my brain works, but when I see 3S max, no more than 3S. Wait, when I see do not use 3S or above, I think, so is 3S okay? It's not. 2S at the most. Otherwise, it'll just power off the battery of your radio, and that's fine. If your radio can't supply the voltage it needs at 500 milliwatts, then at least you have the option for an external power source. XT30, if I didn't say that already. It does have a USB port, USB-C for updating. I do have cables that fit. I have a lot of cables that don't fit. It is a tight fit for the USB-C, as you can see right here. It is recessed into the body. You may have to hunt around for a USB-C cable that will fit, or just trim one down if you happen to need to. The fit and finish is excellent. It fits in this here. This is the TX12 Fits very well. It's actually a little bit on the tight side. To get it out, I kind of have to squeeze the ears and push on the antenna. Not ideal, but that's what it takes. It fits a little bit looser on the TX16S. There's just very varying qualities of the molds on these radios. You know, it's Radio Master. They're not the highest quality radios. So there is a lot of different varying fits for the module. This fits everything, but whether it's tight or loose, it's going to stay in your radio. Just some radios are a lot tighter than others. This does come with a regular style antenna like that, and it does come with their cool little Moxon style antenna. I do really like these. Very nice little antenna. You want to make sure that you have the antenna installed before you power this thing on, because it could fry the power amplifier. Speaking of power amplifier, where is it located on this module? It's on the back side, meaning this side, not the side with the fan on it. Well, some people see that as kind of a mix-up and a oops by BetaFPV. This module doesn't really need a fan. And then the other elephant in the room is when you go into the menu, this module stops transmitting. It's a well-known thing. BetaFPV has it right in their manual. Not that anybody ever reads this thing, but it is known. You'd have to be really trying to push this button and hold it long enough to get into the menu. Although it is an issue, I don't think it's as big of an issue as people are making it out to be. This is being addressed in future versions of ExpressLRS, according to my contact at BetaFPV. I haven't been digging into the forums or anything like that for ExpressLRS, but they said that this is being addressed, and so is the OLED screen. I've been flying this for the last, say, 2 weeks. I've had zero issues with it. It works exactly like all the other ExpressLRS transmitter modules, except for it fits in a larger JR bay. It works exactly like my home-built ones that I solder by hand. It works like all the other manufacturers who have produced ready-to-fly options. I do want to talk about the receiver they sent me. They sent me the ELRS light receiver. It's basically a Happy Model EP2. It has an SMD antenna, the tiny little Tic Tac size form factor. But there's two things I like about it better. A, it's cheaper. It's a couple bucks cheaper, at least where I'm shopping. A couple bucks cheaper. And the other thing I really appreciate is they actually screen printed the pin out on the back of the PCB for it. So I don't have to always go online, look up the schematic, and figure out how to wire it up. They actually printed it right on the back. Good job. It's a great receiver, and the screen printing is it's always nice to not have to pull out my phone and look up a wiring diagram. But that's just me. It's one of those little attentions to detail that I really appreciate. So, question is, should you buy this? If you're in the market for ExpressLRS and you have a radio with a full-size JRA like the TX12, the Radio Master TX16S, the TBS Mambo, QX7, X9D, something like that, and like I said, you are in the market for a transmitter of this size, yeah, it's a good purchase. I think it's ahead of its time. The firmware will catch up with the hardware, and I think you'll be good to go. This is a good module. I don't think you need to go any higher than, for the most part, I don't need to go over 100 milliwatts, let alone 500. 250 is the max on a lot of the 2.4 gigahertz transmitters. This one goes up to 500. I think it's just because it has that active cooling in it. They can push that envelope a little bit further. I don't know exactly which chipset's in there. There's a RF shield over it. I'm assuming it's probably the LoRa E28 transmitter module, which will do 500 milliwatts with the right software behind it. Are there more things to come for ExpressLRS? Absolutely. This is a fast-moving protocol. There are changes all the time. So far, we haven't had to update any of our hardware. I'm not saying you will in the future, but I think this one does get you out ahead of the game, especially with that OLED screen. There is a Black Friday sale going on at BetaFPV from November 26th to December 1st. 15% off store-wide. You want to get them AIOs, you want to get that ExpressLRS goodies, head on over there, use the link in the video description. It's an affiliate link. It'll help me out, give me a cut. All right, folks, quick look, ExpressLRS module. Let me know if you have any questions about this or anything you want to see. Hopefully you saw what you need to see in the little teardown I had run in the background. I do like this. This is definitely going to be a keeper. Let me know what you think. Sound off in the comments down below, and as always, folks, stay positive.